These last few years I witnessed a surprising but also somewhat disappointing rise of identitarian feeling among white people in the West. A growing number of young and not so young are taking the red pill and are waking up to the grim reality. Europe is like a sick man eaten away by cancer that has to defend himself from a scimitar brandishing attacker. Our roots and heritage is ridiculed and marginalized. We are held up as the scum of the earth for all kinds of historical fictions or fictionalized realities, and our instinct of self-preservation is undermined in every way. In this context, some are trying to go back to the sources and make some sense of who we are and who we are supposed to be, rejecting the current suicidal path that our betters in the establishment has laid down for us. And make no mistake, this path will lead us into oblivion. However, these red-pilled individuals and groups are trying to work with what our culture is giving them. The late 19th century introduced the idea of biological race, and since then we swung between two extremes. We either define ourselves primarily in racial terms as whites and judge other things as extension of our racial heritage, or reject completely race as a point of reference, denying its very existence, except of course as a weapon against Western civ. Also, the heightened racial consciousness of so-called minorities that pits them against the white majority has the potential of producing a counter-movement of white racial identity. Racial consciousness is the stuff our future seems to be made of. And in this storm, other more important things are scattered to the winds. Biological race is the focus point of a culture that has succumbed to gross materialism. In this sense, there is not much difference between anti-racists and racists, who look on the world through these materialist glances. Both of these options represent a betrayal of our Western heritage. We, white Europeans, achieved what we have achieved because we put in the center of our culture the ideal of shaping the soul, and then the body as an extension of it. Our heritage has three main components, and our history has been shaped by the not always easy interaction between them. On the one hand, we have the classical world that left us the ideal of Paideia, or education as a shaping of the soul and of the body. Then we have the Christian revelation that founded the Church, which in turn organized Europe as a coherent whole, basing it on the foundation of pre-Christian classical Paideia. These two are supplemented by our respective tribal heritage, the myths, the legends, and some of the institutions that define our relationship with our native land. Christianity is what gives our culture its universalist impetus. Classical culture is what gathers together our various tribes from Constantinople to Connaught, from Syracuse to Stockholm. The mythology of our tribal and national forebears is what grounds this whole great edifice into the soil of Europe. The color of our skin and the shape of our eyes has its importance, but it does not come anywhere near the importance of our soul and its shape and color. If we are weakened and sick today, it is, I think, because of the unhealthy diet that we keep our souls on. Our souls have become obese and shapeless, and our bodies are already fleshing that out. 19th and 20th century racial consciousness is not, in my opinion, the proper counter-diet. With all due respect to the alt-right and the identitarians, they are proposing something that is just marginally better. It is certainly better to be on the alt-right than to be an SJW or a conservative fellow traveler. But this can only be a first step. Three things are there to be discovered for us: the mythologies of our ancestors by blood, the classical culture of the pagan Greco-Roman world, and Christianity as it came to be expressed in the medieval church. We are the heirs of Christendom, and Christendom had these three foundations: the Christian revelation, classical Paideia or education, and the myth of the local tribes and people. This is what this channel is about.